no matter what you do to maintain it, test it, prepare, you need a plan B. In that, I've certainly had the case where we have a single voting machine in our precinct, it dies mid-election, and as an IT guy myself, professionally, once I see some piece of electronics equipment just sort of die, I'm not about to reboot it and hope it keeps working, or trust that it's gonna keep working, it's out. So we just switch back to manual count. We have an advantage that we are a paper ballot optical mark scan counting state. So that means we just bring out the boxes. We have one from the late 1800s. Just start stuffing the ballots in it. And then at the evening, we have to get results the same day. We're going to now be hand counting. And that means you need to train your people on hand counting or whatever your backup scheme is. You've got to practice it sometimes because it doesn't do any good to read about it if you've never done it. And you got to be able to pull it off. So it's kind of like keeping an old skill alive. I was once asked, what will we do in some FEMA preparedness drill, if certain circumstances happen? And I said, it doesn't matter. We can stand in the parking lot outside and, use paper, even if we don't have the ballots anymore, right? We'll have the election no matter what. And we may have to improvise, we may have to count by hand, it may take all night, but we're going to have an election. And that's the sort of principle we start with, and that's how we prepare.
Robert must have been reading my mind because I was going to, the focus, rightly so, has been on technology and the aging equipment. And for that, again, it goes back to maintenance and testing and being able to do the repairs that are necessary. But you still have to instill a sense of confidence in the public. I mean, we perhaps all of us read the Brennan Center for Justice report on the aging equipment, and that sent chills up the spines of many who believe, oh my God, all the systems are going to break down in 2016 because they're all not really. If the systems have been properly maintained, and if you have the spare parts and you have a good contract, you stand a better chance. But in the end, even if it's, as Brian noted, even if it's brand new equipment, you can still have hiccups. And that goes back to my point I was going to make, is that you have to have contingency plans, and you have to be prepared to execute at a moment's notice, whether it's emergency paper ballots or whether it is another system that you can deploy very quickly and keep it running smoothly, because that's where things begin to get a little bit tricky for an administrator. If all of a sudden you have to stop altogether and you don't have a way to get continue to keep that line moving, that attracts a lot of media attention. And even if in the end everything works well, the news is going to be that the system broke down, and then it creates all sorts of doubts, particularly if the margin of victory is fairly close.
Sandra?
In Wisconsin, our municipalities choose which voting equipment they would like to use, and there's over 1,800 municipalities, so there can be, a lot of different types of equipment being used within a county. We're unique because we did get all of our municipalities to choose one type of equipment, and when we did that, we chose to do all of our programming and printing of ballots in Brown County. So we have the opportunity, if for some reason our equipment fails, we can always give them a new flash drive to reprocess ballots. If they're running low on ballots, we can print ballots, which we do on election day up until about 7 p.m. So we have that opportunity. We were fortunate when we needed new equipment that the Brown County Board supported that, so they purchased the equipment for the entire county, so that when we made the upgrade from the old equipment to the new equipment, we're all on the same platform. So that has worked really good. We do hire our vendor to send in a staff person to be on site for each election, because a lot of times, being computer equipment, there's questions about it, how it's functioning, that you need an answer to right away. So we have that support person on site in our office. So those are some of the things that we do to try and stay on track on election day.